Is SLU-PP-332 the next best thing? Does it exceed the hype? And most importantly, is it worth your hard-earned money? The simple answer is yes. It's a side effect-free mitochondrial function enhancer and fat-burning compound that stacks very well with methylene blue, MOTS-C, cardarine, carnitine, clenbuterol, and other fat-burning aids, taking your fat loss phase to the next level. Stick around to learn more. Vigorous Steve here. Let's go over all of the scientific evidence surrounding SLU-PP-332, a newly developed estrogen receptor-related orphan receptor alpha, beta, and GABA agonist, which improves mitochondrial respiration and biogenesis, improves fatty acid oxidation and glucose uptake, but most importantly, it increases endurance, stamina, and exercise capacity from the first serving onwards. Honestly, I haven't been this excited for a new compound since 5-amino-1-MQ became available. The three estrogen receptor-related orphan receptors are highly expressed in tissues with high energy demands, including skeletal muscle, the heart, the brain, the liver, and both white and brown adipose tissue. The ERR alpha and GABA are highly expressed in skeletal muscle. Unlike its name might imply, estrogens like estradiol or esterone, or phytoestrogens for that matter, they don't bind to the estrogen receptor-related orphan receptors, even though these receptors are structurally similar to the estrogen alpha and beta receptors. However, the ER alpha does regulate many of the same target genes that are activated by the estrogen receptor alpha. Based on the limited scientific evidence that's available, you can find all citations down below as usual, and my own personal experience, I would say that there's no estrogenic hormonal effects when supplementing with SLU-PP-332, but then again, for now that might be a little presumptuous. Time will tell as more scientific evidence becomes available. Once activated, the ERRs target specific genes that regulate energy production, similar to how the peroxisome proliferator activated receptors target genes that regulate energy production. So based on the limited scientific evidence that we have on ERRs and a good amount of scientific evidence that we have on PPARs, it appears that some of these target genes overlap, while some of them do not. But it seems that stacking a ERR with a PPAR goes well if you want to upregulate energy production and get a maximum amount of fat loss. And yes, of course, before you ask, yes, I did stack SLU-PP-332 with cardarine and, for what it's worth, telmisartan together, and I got a very synergistic effect regarding fat loss over the last couple of weeks that I've been using all of these compounds together. At this point in time, there isn't so much scientific evidence for us to review, and what is available, again, citations are down below in case you're interested. Most of the studies are extremely technical and sometimes a little bit hard to decipher, so I'm not going to bore you with individual study overlays or highlighting particular segments of these studies. Let's keep it easy. Let's break it down in the unique characteristics of SLU-PP-332 so you know what to expect, what the unique benefits are, and what the potential negative side effects might be. So here are the evidence-based unique characteristics for SLU-PP-332. SLU-PP-332 is an estrogen receptor-related orphan receptor alpha, beta, and GABA agonist stemming from in vitro studies with 4 to 5 times the selectivity and 100 times the potency for the ERR alpha compared to the ER gamma, with low to moderate affinity for the ER beta. SLU-PP-332 doesn't interact with the estrogen receptor alpha or beta, but it does target similar genes as these estrogen receptors. SLU-PP-332 increases mitochondrial respiration and biogenesis, increases acute aerobic exercise endurance. In animal models, treated mice with SLU-PP-332 at various dosages, we'll get into that a little bit later on, can run about 70% longer and about 45% further compared to the placebo group. So that's already very promising. SLU-PP-332 activates ERR alpha dependent genes associated with acute aerobic exercise during sedentary states. So this basically means that SLU-PP-332 is a direct exercise mimetic. Even in sedentary states, you activate target genes that are otherwise activated by acute aerobic exercise. Very, very, very promising. If you take this in a sedentary state, while you're sitting on your butt or before going to bed, you get an exercise-like effect. And this is coming from the target genes DNA damage inducible transcript 4, DDIT4, which is critical for exercise adaptation and skeletal muscle mitochondrial respiration. I'm reading this off the screen because it's impossible to remember. And SLC-25A25, which is an ATP MG2 plus pi inner mitochondrial membrane solute transporter that plays a role in loading nascent mitochondria with nucleotides. It also regulates mitochondrial respiration. And these two target genes, DDIT4 and SLC-25A25, the gene expression increases 3.5 to 4 times in sedentary states, but 11 times when SLU-PP-332 is combined with aerobic exercise, probably because exercise increases ER alpha and ER gamma expression in skeletal muscle between 1.5 to 2.1 times. So what are you doing taking this in a sedentary state? If you want to get the maximum effect of SLU-PP-332 regarding these target genes, don't use it as an exercise mimetic. Use it pre-workout to get the maximum benefits. SLU-PP-332 increases skeletal muscle glucose uptake and metabolism, which improves insulin sensitivity. It increases skeletal muscle mitochondrial content, again through mitochondrial biogenesis. It increases skeletal muscle mitochondrial ATP synthesis, and it increases skeletal muscle oxidative type 2A muscle fibers, which are generally associated with glucose oxidation and carbohydrate utilization. So besides increasing fatty acid oxidation when supplementing SLU-PP-332, improved glucose oxidation and carbohydrate utilization this combination ultimately results in an enhanced endurance and stamina. Now imagine if you combine SLU-PP-332 with cardarine, which shifts muscle fiber types from 2 to 1, you probably get more fatty acid oxidation and potentially a little bit less glucose uptake and carbohydrate utilization. Still, this combination seems to be very, very potent to improve your endurance and stamina and potentially optimize fat loss. SLU-PP-332 decreases respiratory exchange ratio and increases resting energy expenditure in animal models, which also makes it an exercise mimetic. So SLU-PP-332 increases fatty acid oxidation by 25% and decreases carbohydrate utilization in skeletal muscle in resting states. So imagine if you take this when your energy expenditure actually goes up during a workout. SLU-PP-332 decreases fat mass gain and improves glucose tolerance in high-fat diet-induced obesity models, in animal models. So that might mean that SLU-PP-332 is not only very beneficial to improve your endurance and stamina when you do work out, but it might prevent fat gain when you hit the hotel buffet for one day or multiple days in a row on your holiday, and actually keeps you lean. Now, isn't that wonderful? You have an exercise mimetic that might keep you lean when you go out and about eating way too many carbohydrates and way too much fat, because in this diet-induced obesity study, you see that these animals don't really gain any significant amount of body fat. Promising. So guess who's going to be running SLU-PP-332 when he hits Las Vegas for 2 weeks in a row and is going to hit the hotel buffet left and right and eats a little bit off plan? I am, for sure. I will continue with this protocol of SLU-PP-332 when I go on holiday and I eat a little bit more freely just to prevent fat gain, and then continue with my fat loss journey as soon as I get home. SLU-PP-332 decreases adipose tissue fat mass, which again is coming from improved fatty acid metabolism within white and brown adipose tissue. Now, this also leads me to believe that SLU-PP-332 stacks very well together with 5-amino-1-MQ, which inhibits nicotinamide and methyltransferase enzymes, which then increases intracellular NAD+ levels and promotes fat metabolism and mobilization out of adipose tissue. For your information, gastric inhibitory polypeptides found in tirzepatide and retatrutide might also improve fatty acid mobilization out of adipose tissue. So now you have 3 compounds that you could potentially stack together to get enhanced fatty acid mobilization out of adipose tissue. So when you hit 6% body fat levels or 8% body fat levels and you notice that fat loss is stalling, consider stacking SLU-PP-332, 5-amino-1-MQ, and either tirzepatide or retatrutide, whatever you have access to and can afford. Again, all of these compounds are kind of expensive. If you want to continue with your fat loss journey without throwing the kitchen sink at it, like clenbuterol, ephedrine, or a DMP, don't do that. Don't take DMP, but some people prefer to take that to get nasty shredded and dry and low body fat levels. Instead of doing that, just take these compounds that promote fatty acid mobilization, and fat loss should continue without hindrance. SLU-PP-332 doesn't alter brown adipose tissue or offer thermic effects stemming from the animal models, but I don't really agree with that, because what I've noticed after adding in 400 micrograms up to 600 micrograms SLU-PP-332 to my existing fat burning stack is that body temperature, especially basal body temperature, has gone up. And I noticed it during my workout, whether that's a fasted cardio session or training in a gym without air conditioning, that my body temperature has gone up substantially, and I'm sweating profusely, even more profusely than before. So do expect to sweat a little bit more, and that your basal body temperature is going up by taking SLU-PP-332. And whether that's through enhanced fatty acid oxidation or increased mitochondrial biogenesis, it's probably a combination of both. You will notice that you get a little bit more clammy at rest and increased, well, probably sweating profusely during a workout. So be very well aware of this side effect. This is the only side effect that I've noticed so far. Now, when you read into the animal models, they keep the mice in a thermoneutral environment, so the temperature is stable the entire way through, which isn't really representative of real-world practical applications, because you go in and out of your house, you go in and out of gyms with or without air conditioning. You're probably combining SLU-PP-332 with a high-protein diet, which is already thermogenic just by itself, especially when you're combining that with a low-dose Trimbolone sandwich. I mean, you eat a little bit of egg whites in the morning, and you start sweating profusely already, not to mention all of the other fat-burning aids that I'm stacking with SLU-PP-332. So just expect your body temperature, especially at rest, to go up slightly, and that you're starting to sweat profusely during your workouts. Maybe my SLU-PP-332 was DNP after all. No, I don't think so, because I've used DNP in the past, and this feels 10 times better, and I'm not getting any of the other side effects generally associated with DNP. Let's move on. SLU-PP-332 lowers serum total cholesterol, triglycerides, HDL, fasting glucose, and insulin levels. It had no effect on serum LDL, complete blood count, or electrolyte levels, and it raises serum liver enzymes slightly, which is to be expected from anything you take orally. SLU-PP-332 increases grip strength, which is one of the hallmarks of longevity. So maybe SLU-PP-332 might have some overlapping longevity benefits by increasing mitochondrial biogenesis and function. It probably has. SLU-PP-332 improves ejection fraction and decreases cardiac fibrosis following transverse aortic constriction, which is a heart failure model. But it seems that SLU-PP-915 offers more pronounced improvements. I looked far and wide for SLU-PP-915, but I couldn't find it anywhere. The citation is down below in case you're looking for a compound to improve ejection fraction and heart function overall after you had some sort of cardiac event. SLU-PP-332 improves age-related kidney injuries. It reduces albuminuria, reduces kidney inflammation and kidney weight, which comes from improved mitochondrial metabolism within the kidneys, which usually comes down with age. Now, of course, astragalus root extract also improves kidney filtration by reducing kidney inflammation, and SLU-PP-332 might be a solid addition to astragalus to improve kidney function and blood work parameters over time. But time will tell. I haven't done blood work on SLU-PP-332, and I'm not entirely sure if cystatin C or creatinine or blood urea nitrogen or other kidney-related markers have improved by this addition to my 6-gram astragalus root extract protocol. And SLU-PP-332 might increase DHA sulfate production within the adrenal cortex, within the adrenals, through elevated dihydroepiandrosterone sulfotransferase activity, as well as CYP17A1 activity. Now, again, I haven't done any blood work on SLU-PP-332 yet. I'll do that at the end of September and work some of the results into the blood work review video that will drop before I go to the United States. So I can't say if my serum DHA or DHA sulfate levels have improved or any of my kidney-related markers have improved by the addition of SLU-PP-332 for the last couple of weeks. Now, since most of the scientific evidence is performed in animal models, I took the liberty to convert the animal dosages to the human equivalent dose using DoseCal, which you can also find down below in the description section of this YouTube video. Funnily enough, the dosage ranges are about 1,000 times higher when you convert it from the animal models to the human equivalent dose than what we're currently taking in the bodybuilding and fitness community, right? Generally, the dosages of SLU-PP-332 are 200 micrograms per servings, and then you might take 2 or 3 servings over the day. So that's 200 micrograms to 600 micrograms over the day, which already offers a very pronounced effect regarding fatty acid oxidation, glucose uptake, increased stamina and endurance, and of course, a mitochondrial biogenesis and function. So when you see the animal dosage ranges, depending on the study that you read, the dosage is anywhere between 25 milligrams per kilogram of body weight through intraperitoneal administration, that's into the abdomen, to 50 milligrams per kilogram of body weight intraperitoneally twice daily. So that's 100 milligrams per kilograms of body weight daily. The half-life of SLU-PP-332 through intraperitoneal administration in the liver is 1.8 hours, in serum is 1.5 hours, and within skeletal muscle or cardiac muscle is only 1 hour. So that leads me to believe that you should dose a low dose of SLU-PP-332 multiple times per day, ideally, let's say 30 minutes to 60 minutes pre-activity, before fasted cardio or before the workout, with maybe another serving later before bed if you want to improve mitochondrial function, fatty acid oxidation, and glucose uptake at rest when you're sedentary, sleeping the night away. The study duration of these animal models ranged for most of the studies between 7 days to 28 days, but there's a single study that went up to 8 weeks. So if you want to base your SLU-PP-332 cycle duration on the animal models showing minimal adverse effects, you could safely take it up to 8 weeks. If you calculate to the human equivalent dosage, between 25 milligrams per kilogram of body weight up to 100 milligrams per kilogram of body weight in the animal models, that ranged between 2.03 milligrams per kilogram of body weight to 4.05 milligrams per kilogram of body weight orally, up to 2 times daily. And if you do the conversion for, let's say, 50 kilogram bodybuilders up to 120 kilogram bodybuilders, that means that, let's take a 100 kilogram bodybuilder that is a respectable weight. The dosage of SLU-PP-332 based on the animal model can be between 200 milligrams up to 800 milligrams daily, which is 1,000 times higher than 200 micrograms up to 600, maybe 800 micrograms daily, which is what most people in the fitness space up until now have been taking. And I think that's a more reasonable approach because the price of SLU-PP-332 is, well, kind of high. As of now, there's not so many sources that carry it. So I would just stick with the microgram dose and not escalate upwards to the milligram dose. Again, I don't think that there's any human out there that went up to the milligram dose unless you're sourcing the raws yourself from China. Now, I wouldn't recommend it because, again, at the low and effective dose in the microgram ranges, you already get pronounced effects. So based on the limited scientific evidence that we have at our disposal right now and the community that has been running SLU-PP-332, I would say that it's best utilized during a cutting phase where you want to increase fatty acid oxidation and improve glucose uptake to get to the maximum amount of fat loss, but still use it at a low and effective dose in the microgram ranges alongside a multitude of other fat burners at low and effective dosages as well, so you can keep the side effects of all of these fat burners running at the same time at an all-time low or basically non-existent. And then maybe you can run SLU-PP-332 on your next holiday when you know you're going to be eating like an asshole and you need to minimize or mitigate any kind of fat gain so you can continue with your fat loss journey right after, which is certainly what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be running 600 micrograms, maybe up to 800 micrograms SLU-PP-332 when I go to Las Vegas, and I know that I'll be eating out maybe once to twice per day, and that American foods, well, we all know that it's riddled with extra calories because the portions are freaking large. So during a cutting phase, I would say that SLU-PP-332 would stack very well with the following compounds. You would run SLU-PP-332 anywhere between 200 micrograms up to 600 micrograms per day. So that's 30 minutes to 60 minutes before fasted cardio, 30 to 60 minutes before the workout, and maybe a later serving before bed to increase resting energy expenditure when you're sleeping. Combine that with methylene blue, 3 to 10 milligrams upon waking daily or on workout days, maybe 3 to 5 times per week. MOT-C, 5 milligrams sub-Q or intramuscularly Monday and Friday to improve mitochondrial function even further. Injectable carnitine, 500 milligrams sub-Q or intramuscular pre-cardio or before the workout. Cardarine, 10 milligrams 30 minutes to 60 minutes before fasted cardio and before the workouts. Not anymore. Again, I already made an extensive cardarine deep dive, and it seems that 10 milligrams, maybe 20 milligrams per day is the non-cancerous dose. 5-amino-1-MQ from 6%, maybe 8% body fat downwards. Before that, I don't really see a reason to run 5-amino-1-MQ in any kind of fat-burning stack because fat loss is still gradual until you hit 8% or 6% body fat. And then after that, you might want to run 5-amino-1-MQ at 50 milligrams pre-fasted cardio, pre-workout, and before bed to inhibit the nicotinamide and methyltransferase enzymes and increase the NAD+ levels within adipose tissue for gradual fat loss and fat mobilization out of adipose tissue going forward. Then you can choose between a mirabegron or clenbuterol, whether you want beta-2 or beta-3 adrenergic receptor activation. For mirabegron, that would be 50 milligrams pre-cardio, pre-workout, and maybe before bed even. With clenbuterol, that's 20 micrograms before cardio, before the workout, and maybe a couple servings of 20 micrograms in between meals. Growth hormone, right, depending on your protocol and your overall level of development, that could be 1.2 IUs up to 18 IUs per day. And then tirzepatide or retatrutide, depending on what you have access to and what you can tolerate. Again, the dosages are on the screen. Then for a lean and mean holiday stack, I would just run SLU-PP-332, 200 micrograms before the cardio. Yes, you should still be doing cardio when you go on holiday. Cardio is year-round, no excuses. As you should be doing workouts. If you go on holiday, you go visit all these cool gyms and get cool workouts in on workout equipment that you never used. 200 micrograms SLU-PP-332 before the fasted cardio. And before the workout, you would take some injectable carnitine, obviously, for fatty acid oxidation and fatty acid shuttling into the mitochondria. And then, Xenical, orlistat to inhibit fat absorption in the intestinal tract. Garcinia cambogia for the exact same reason. Berberine to improve insulin sensitivity. White kidney bean extract to prevent glucose uptake in the intestinal tract. Metformin to slow down gastric emptying and improve insulin sensitivity, and then Senna-T for the ultimate evacuation at the end of the day, right? I don't want to spend too much time on this. The details are on the screen. If you know, you know. Probably this stack will probably make you lose weight eating whatever you want on holiday, even though the bathroom will be destroyed every single day of your holiday as well, right? Make sure you buy some extra toilet paper. The toilet paper that you get from the hotel will not be sufficient. I'm talking from personal experience. All right, let's move on. And regarding the off-season, well, at this point, I don't really know because I haven't used SLU-PP-332 myself during the off-season, nor have I talked to anybody who've used SLU-PP-332 in their off-season themselves. So, do the community a solid if you've used SLU-PP-332, whether that was during a cutting phase or during your holiday or during your off-season. Write down your personal experiences down below in the YouTube comment section so we can get a discussion going and get a little bit more anecdotal experience from the community so we know what to expect from SLU-PP-332. Did it increase your body temperature? Did it make you lean? Did it prevent fat gain during the off-season, right? Whatever little detail you're willing to share from your own personal SLU-PP-332 experiment, let us know down below. I would love to hear it from you guys as well. Based on limited scientific evidence that we have at this point in time, it might prevent fat gain during the off-season. It might improve or sustain insulin sensitivity, whether you're using a boatload of growth hormone and insulin exogenously or not, right? If you're eating a boatload of carbohydrates and healthy fats alongside of that, if this compound SLU-PP-332 is potent enough to improve fatty acid oxidation, improve glucose uptake, and carbohydrate utilization during the off-season when you're eating a boatload of food, then obviously you're not going to gain any fat, and you don't need to do any mini diets to sustain insulin sensitivity, restore that, and remove a little bit of body fat that you accumulated. So now, instead of having an off-season of 9 months, getting phenomenal gains, maybe you can do it in 7. I'm just speculating here, but let me know if you used it down below. I would love to hear from you guys, for the guys that have used SLU-PP-332 during the off-season as well. And if you're running a boatload of growth hormone or insulin, maybe this is the one that moves the needle from slowly losing insulin sensitivity or getting full-blown insulin resistance from dosing growth hormone multiple times per day. Or if you're using MK677, which isn't very good for insulin sensitivity when you're running that during the off-season, or this new and upcoming growth hormone formula with a beta HCG subunit attached with a very long active life, this Ngenla growth hormone that's now hitting the market, might also not be good for insulin sensitivity when you're running that during the off-season, because growth hormone levels are continuously elevated, and this increases free-form fatty acids in the bloodstream, which causes acute insulin resistance, right? So maybe this is the one that moves the needle and allows you to stay insulin sensitive when abusing growth hormone, insulin, MK677, or Ngenla. Very promising, I would say. And who knows, it might be able to sustain your ejection fraction when you're saucing your socks off with grams upon grams of steroids and IUs upon IUs of growth hormone and insulin and IGF-1 and etc., right? I mean, the scientific evidence is a little bit thin, but it does show a lot of promise. If it can sustain ejection fraction or maybe prevent negative effects on your heart when you're already taking telmisartan and nebivolol and any kind of positive practice to keep your heart health intact, that might also be something that moves the needle in the long term. Again, I'm not entirely sure if you can run SLU-PP-332 continuously, but time will tell as more scientific evidence comes to the forefront. Maybe this is the one that moves the needle from having a fully functioning healthy heart to having an enlarged heart with reduced ejection fraction after a decade of steroid use and abuse. And maybe the same can be said for your kidney health, even though you're doing everything right to manage your blood pressure with telmisartan, magnesium, nebivolol, etc. Maybe this is the one that moves the needle from having healthy kidneys after a decade of steroid use and abuse, and failing kidneys and needing to come off and doing all kinds of dialysis at the end of your bodybuilding career, which is not unheard of. Okay, well, that being said, extremely limited scientific evidence as of now. No long-term data on human subjects. We only experiment with this compound, so there's anecdotal reports, and that's it. No clinical trials, no tangible safety and efficacy data in human subjects at all. Just to keep it safe, limit your exposure to a few weeks at a time, right? Again, the animal models go up to 8 weeks in duration, showing minimal negative effects from the small amount of biomarkers that they did keep track of, using insane dosages up to 100 milligrams per 1 kilogram of body weight daily through intraperitoneal administration. So if you convert that to the human equivalent dose, that would be 811 milligrams daily for a 100 kilogram bodybuilder. Not 800 micrograms, 800 milligrams. So it appears to be reasonably safe at higher and completely unaffordable dosages, well, at least for now. And who knows, maybe a couple of years from now, after SLU-PP-332 has undergone a couple clinical trials and is now a branded medication, we'll run this compound as an ancillary to sustain our cardiac health and our kidney health on cycle, like we do with beta blockers and angiotensin receptor blockers currently. Right? Maybe time will tell. And then as a warm and welcome side effect, it also improves mitochondrial biogenesis, mitochondrial function, keeps our insulin sensitivity intact, and keeps us lean during the off-season, basically the entire year through. Time will tell. Very, very promising compound. For now, we're out of time. This is all I wanted to discuss on SLU-PP-332. If you want to do your blood work, do it over at Merck Health if you live in the United States. They have excellent healthcare providers and patient care coordinators who can help you interpret your blood work results, whether you run SLU-PP-332 or not, right? It's obviously still good to do your blood work when you're running experimental compounds like this. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find everything that I'm associated with down below in the YouTube description section. My sponsors, my affiliates are all there. Gorilla Mind, Intelligent Sop, Merrick Health, and iHerb, all down below. Discount codes galore. And if you can't find something specific, just hit me up through my website. I might be able to point you in the right direction. For now, we're out of time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Vigorous Crew, a front double bicep fully enhanced by SLU-PP-332. I mean, it's filling out the screen. Look at that. Mitochondrial function is completely upregulated with the stack that I'm on right now. And I feel absolutely energetic and fantastic so far. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.